My name is Niamh Wood, aka the Laughing Badger. Well, we lived at a place called Bleak House, which is 800 feet above sea level at Crowden in Longdendale. And I transformed what was just a big old shed outside into a gallery space. By pure chance, a building that I knew became available in a little village called Padfield. And that's when I realised the dream, if you like, of opening a gallery. And we called it the Laughing Badger. My hair started to go grey a little early, much to the upset of my twin sons. So I started to get little stripes in my hair. As somebody once said, something you look like a badger. So when I opened an art gallery, I thought, well, I'm always laughing, although my hair is obviously white now, so I called it the Laughing Badger. I've come to that stage in my life where the things I've been doing them for 40 years. So, for example, with the singing, I was singing from a lad, and my mother and family being Irish, I was into things like the Dubliners. And then when I got to university, I was into people like Joni Mitchell and Led Zeppelin. But there was always the Dubliners, and then this band called Planxty. They were always around, but I never actually performed Irish music in public until 1980. We were in a pub, no surprise there, but on the way home, we started singing. And I can remember now, as clear as day, we were singing, "What Shall We Do with the Drunken Sailor?" And we kind of got halfway home, and then we realised, hang on a sec, that sounds pretty good. So basically, 40 years later, I'm still singing. There is a song, a Dublin song, and it was written for a fella called Luke Kelly, God love him, who's dead. He was one of the Dubliners, and it's called Raglan Road. And the reason Raglan Road is so important to me is it was my mother's favourite song, and she was a Dubliner, and she only died 3 years ago. So every gig that I've ever played, I think, I've sung Raglan Road for my mum. And I sang it at a funeral, and that was a tough gig, but I had to do it. She was watching.
Quiet streets, where all those streets, I see her walking now.
Away from me so hurriedly, my reason must allow. For I have loved not as I should, the creature made of clay. When the angel woos, it's plain he'll lose his wings at the dawn of the day. That's Raglan Road for my mother. Ideas and imagination, for me, are the very core of one's life, and everything else springs from that. If you've got ideas and you've got imagination, and also then the strength of character to be able to share your love of the arts, whether it's painting, whether it's music, whether it's performing on stage, in whatever. When you've got the love of it and you've really, really driven to share that love of it, it means that you've got to put your heart on your sleeve. You know, some people say you should be retired, or you're not retiring. Well, the writing and the singing and the performing, you don't have to retire. In fact, I feel as though I'm bursting with ideas now at 67, and I feel in many ways exactly the same way as I felt when I first got on stage. The way I am, you know, it's probably one of those Marmite things, isn't it? Some people will probably think, oh, Woody's a big head. You know, some people, most people, thankfully, think, "Hey, Woody, I like what he does. He's got nerve, he's got guts. You know, he's got imagination. Imagination and ideas to come back to that are everything. And people they can choose to come or they can choose to stay away. Doesn't matter. everybody that came into the Laughing Badger and then into the cellar bar, which we created for live music and drink, obviously, they could find something for them, and we could find something that we could get or gain or learn from them in their own way. So it was this melting pot where everybody could learn from everybody else. It was just coming into its own when we decided to sell up in December 2019. But it was such an amazing atmosphere. People asked to come when they were mid-tour. In fact, one of the most memorable was a girl called Meredith Moon from Ontario. She lands in Padfield, and she'd sent me the poster the week before, and it's got something like Paris, Rome, Berlin, Padfield. That'll do for me, I thought. People wanted to come to the Laughing Badger and to the cellar bar and go away with a little bit of magic, and that's what they got. But all is not lost. I know we sold up, but I've got friends who have a brewery in Glossop, a fantastic brewery called Howard Town Brewery. And as we sold up, they just happened to get a license to turn what was the old brewery into a brewery tap. So it's basically a pub. And they also, coincidentally, they live next door. So one morning at about 7 o'clock, as they were going to work and I was just getting up and getting the coffee on, they press ganged me outside and said, "You know, you're finishing here today. You don't fancy doing what you do here at the brewery, do you?" I said, "Okay." And that was that. So I actually started my art workshops with lunch the week after, and we started music at the brewery 2 weeks later. And I think we'd done 19 Sundays of live music, and then COVID hit. Business-wise, it affected it completely because it stopped. Hopefully it'll just carry on the way the Laughing Badger and the cellar bar had been. So George Harrison once said, "All things must pass." So there are some things I miss about the Laughing Badger, not least the whole atmosphere about the place. But we've got that at the brewery.
And the boys of the NYPD